Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati from Eric C. Dunn. Supportive Oracle cards, the Akashic Tarot by Sharon Ann Klinkler and Sandra Ann Taylor. I know it says it's a tarot deck, but there's noticeable differences. There's no pages and knights. There's less cards, and even some of the major arcana are a little different. It can be a stretch trying to reach to what the normal tarot looks like. It's very much tarot inspired, but I feel like it's a beautiful deck. I love it. The thing is, I feel like it comes across as more of a tarot inspired oracle deck. So I figured I would just explain why I'm using it as an oracle deck. And that's why. I like it though. I think it's good. I just feel like it's better to look at it that way. It's just better to expect that, especially if you're good with tarot or you know tarot a little bit and and you want that deck or you have it. I feel like you'd understand that. Okay, Taurus. Ooh. Who had that before? Was it Virgo? I feel like all the earth signs are like, they seem to be they seem to have some interesting connections. Let's put it that way. There's a little similarity to all of them. I dare say maybe all three of the earth readings might benefit the people watching this one because it's really making me... Yeah, it might. There's some similarities I'm noticing. All right, let's see. Start going into this situation. You got the King of Keys, okay? But let's see how it fits for you, because I know how it fit for Virgo, but let's see how it fits for you. See, when I feel the King of Keys for you, for Taurus, I feel like you're looking at what's going on here, and I feel like you're looking at the situation at hand. And you're kind of like, all right, there's untapped potential. Untapped potential. Things that can go better. Things that can, you're like seeing like, if we do this a little differently there, that would make more sense. If we put this over here, if we move that over there, that would be more of a straight flowing line. This would make more sense here. That would be more conducive with what's going on to get the goal, like to get more of the flow, to get the flow making more sense. You're seeing things in a way that other people, they just don't understand. Like, if you put things in a certain order, they just jive better. They just kind of flow a little better. Things just go through a little bit more effortlessly the way they should. The way they're currently set up, it's kind of like, it's like bad feng shui. It's like the air comes in this way, then it's kind of like buffed over that way, and it just doesn't circulate around the room the way it should. I feel like that's getting complicated. Basically, you know how to put things in order. Let's leave it at that. You know how to put things in better order than they currently are. It's kind of like, it's like looking at the alphabet and going, somebody put A, B, F, D, Q. And you're like, what? That's how you're looking at it. But they're like, yeah, why can't I do that way? And you're like, because that's out of order. You're like, that's not how the alphabet goes. It doesn't go A, B, F, D, Q. It doesn't, no, that's not how that works. and you're kind of like, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and you're kind of like putting it together, and you're like, literally, like the Q's that far out of balance. You're like, the Q goes way down there. It's not up here. You're coming in with the Justice card in this King of Keys. Justice is first, okay? Justice can be cold. Some of the information you're going to give is going to hit somebody like a ton of bricks. Just kind of like, what do you mean I can't have Q in the beginning of the alphabet? What do you mean? Like, what? Like, they're like really like shocked. And it's just like a harsh lesson for them. Meanwhile, I think you're looking at them like they have two heads. You're like, why would you think Q went in the beginning of the alphabet? Like, why would you think that? That's not your goal. It's not how it's not like your intent to be. I don't see the intent like that, but you're just looking at the situation like, I don't know why you got that letter there. I don't know why you're that far out of balance. Like, that's way too much. It's like way too early in the situation. Way too early. Justice is cold, but you have to come forward with it if you want things to get better. And I feel like you're trying to make the impact. That's more what you're trying to do. You're not trying to be mean, but you're just kind of like trying to impress upon whoever you have to deal with. Like, this is out of order. No, this is really out of order. You're having a lot of problems with this situation because you're starting off here with something like, it's kind of like you're ready to frost the cake and you're just starting the batter. Like, you're just still mixing the batter, If you're mixing the batter, why do you have the frosting? You can't do anything with it until the cake is not only baked, it has to cool. Like there's so much more that has to happen here before you're ready for that step. And you're like, listen, you can't be doing both here. This is way out of order. You're wasting time. You should be getting that done while that's cooking and cooling, then create your frosting. That way you're not wasting time. You're wasting time stopping and going between these two. So you're not trying to be mean. It's kind of the harsh reality of it. Like this person is really out of whack. This is why the Tower comes in with the King of Pentacles. Like, this is going to have to go this way. If you want this to be right, if you want this to work correctly, if you want this to go in order so it actually works, if you want this to actually work, you got to do it this way. And you're like this, and you're moving it around. To them, it's really dramatic. To you, it's just putting it literally where it should go. They're doing it. They're doing it. You got the King of Keys energy. You see how it's supposed to be. Okay. It's a little stressful. It is a little stressful because I feel like you're easily going to see that this person's getting like really frazzled. But at the same time, you're like, what do I do? Just step back and let them keep failing? Is that what I'm supposed to do? No, I got to help them. So they may get frazzled. It may be upsetting, but I'm here to help, and this is what I have to do. And you stabilize it. I really feel like it's hard. The hardest part of this is you want to be sympathetic to their feelings, but at the same time, you don't want them to keep failing. Because you're like, I could be sympathetic to your feelings. It's almost like a choice. Like, I could either be sympathetic to their feelings and let them keep failing, or I can just fix it. And it's rough for them for a while, but once it's fixed, they can get used to that and they can be successful from here going forward. And you're kind of like, I feel like that's how you're evaluating it. Like, they might be frazzled and upset now, but once it's stabilized and I show them how to do it rightly and they get used to it, it'll be okay. It'll be worth it in the long run. So if they have to be frazzled, then I guess they have to be frazzled. And they're stubborn, too. Whoever you're dealing with is a little bit stubborn. And it has nothing to do with the gender. It's the pentacle energy. Because I feel like any of the pentacles, any of the court cards especially, has that ability to be stubborn. The page, not as much, but even the page could be that way. So it has nothing to do with this being the gender of the queen. The king can be that too, not for nothing. It depends how the other cards coming in around it are. But this, the four of roses, is making me feel like somebody's all like, oh, what? Like, it wasn't that bad. The Q can be in the beginning. It's not that bad. And you're like, nope, the Q really can't be. You know, it's kind of like, no. It's kind of like, there's no need for frosting if you're still working in the batter because you're way ahead of the time. You're way ahead of schedule, and now you got to put that away and make sure it's taken care of. And the animals, like, your cat doesn't get into it, so you got to cover it and put it away. And it's just, you don't need that now. It's too early to make that. And you're like, nope, can't put Q in the beginning of the alphabet. That's not where it goes. So but they're like, yes, you're nitpicky. You're just being difficult. Nope, you're not. You do stabilize it. This person, they're frazzled. They might have a couple blow-ups or little problems or spits or spats. What do you want to call them? Like the claws might come out a little bit. And it may make you really question, like, do I really want to help this person? I shouldn't laugh, but it's kind of funny. Kind of like this person's starting to really push it. You're like, they're really starting to push it. Do I really want to help them? Maybe I should just let them keep failing because I'm sick of arguing with them. I'm sick of fighting this. I don't think you're going to give up on this. Are you? I don't think so. That'd be very rare for a Taurus to give up. It'd be very rare, in my opinion. I don't think you are, but I feel like you kind of have to look at the situation like, all right. You're like, all right, hold on. Because you're starting to get to the point where you're like, maybe I just want to give up. Just let this person do what they're going to do. Because it's not worth this. It's not worth the fighting. But then you got the scribe coming in. You're like, all right, let me try to do this a different way. Let me kind of soothe their ego, their emotions. They're upset. They're frazzled. They're feeling very vulnerable. They're feeling embarrassed. Some of them I feel like are feeling a little embarrassed. So I feel like you kind of like, all right, wait a minute. This is getting to be more of a hassle than anything else. This is becoming more fights than anything else. Let's pull it back. Let's just, me and this person, just talk it out. Let me see if I can smooth it over. Because I need this to work out. I want this to work out. That's why I'm a part of this. I want this to go better. So let me just smooth it out and just like make this better so that they can understand. I don't think they're a fool. I don't think any of that because I feel like they blew up and they just got really embarrassed. So you're smoothing it out. Things are going differently here. The scribe, is this the scribe? Yep. The scribe goes a couple different ways. It's not just about writing things down. To me, it's about interpreting what's already there and like transferring that energy, transferring that information over. Sometimes I see the scribe as an interpreter and kind of like helping everybody get on the same page. Like, this is what's here. This is what this actually says here. This is why we need to do it this way. Like, trying to explain things a little better. And I feel like that's your role at this point. Like, all right, let me slow down. The death card is coming in here. Like, this is changing the mode of the information. The Ten of Swords is telling me this is hard. You're trying really hard to work with this person, but it may be they're so revved up, they're so amped up that they're still very difficult to deal with. In fact, I would like to say, at this part of we're only halfway through, but if you're at this point, or if you're at the beginning point of this, and you're at the point where you got to explain to somebody what's wrong, even though justice is cold, if you have a moment in the beginning to explain it in a more kid glove type of way, it might serve you in the long run if you have that option. Just to keep that in mind. If you can, from the very get-go, if you have that option, if you're at the very start of this situation, if you can explain this with kid gloves, it may benefit you much, much more than you expect. It may be worth it, because otherwise I feel like you're running into this roadblock. This person becomes very difficult to deal with. You're trying to work with them. You're trying to smooth things over. And it goes to the hangman part, where the hangman is not going anywhere. Now, it's not a permanent situation, but there's going to be a spot where just like it's like a kid just stamping their feet and holding their breath, and they're like, I'm not going, and they just stamp their feet and they hold their breath and like, I'm not going, no. And I feel like that's what's happening. Like, it's one of those moments, and it feels kind of frustrating like that. Like, if you've literally gone through having a kid do that, I don't think it's fun. I'm just saying. It's not a good time usually. Even if you're one of the more chill parents that can kind of take that and roll with the punches, if you're in the middle of checkout and something and then this happens and you need to get out of the way of other people and you want to finish doing what you're doing so you can move on with life because you got other things to do that day, it's still stressful. Even if you're the most chill parent, I'm telling you, sometimes it just happens at the most unopportune time and you're just kind of like, or you just kind of like look at the kid like, you're lucky there's laws, kid. Which is not funny, but you know what I mean. Well, it is funny, but it's not. We're moving on. Two of Pentacles comes in. There's a choice here. They either have to work with you or they have to go a different direction. When it gets to this part where they're just like, I'm not doing it, I feel like you got to tell them, all right, I'll give you a day. One day. If you don't go my way, if you don't start working with me on this, you're going to have to get somebody else. And I'm out. And you do give them like a short amount of time. Like, I feel like, for example, if it's a business situation and somebody's really difficult, you give them one day. If it's a Friday, you're like, I give you to Monday. It's one of those things. You know, it's not really a conversation. You're just informing them. It's not a conversation. It's not like back and forth. Nope. It's just kind of like, all right, if that's really how it is for you, I'll give you one day. If you're still acting this way at the end of tomorrow, end of Monday, whatever, if this is Friday, end of Monday, then that's it. I'm leaving. You're going to need somebody else. And good luck with that. Because I'm not just going to sit here and deal with this. This person has to really think about this. Six of Cups has to come in, clearing the way. They have to, like, clearing the way is showing up in the environment, but the way I'm feeling about it, clearing the way is either going to be they get over it and they just realize they need your help and they stop being a roadblock to their own success, because I feel like that's what they're doing. Or clearing the way could be that they're just too stubborn to work with you, and the clearing of the way could be you leaving the situation. It can go either way at this point, and it's kind of up to them. Kind of, because like I know the way this sounds is like you're giving the ultimatum, so I still feel like it's up to them. All right, so there's another person. Somebody else comes into this situation either way. I do feel like a third party is entering the situation. I do feel like you're still a part of this situation. Some of you may literally leave. I feel like that's going to be a small amount of you. You may be like, you know what? I gave it a day. They're still being a dork. Bye. And that's it. But it took you a lot to get there. If that happens, if that literally happens, it's because they pushed way too far. They crossed way too many lines. This was the last chance. If this doesn't work, that's the last straw on the camel's back. Out if it doesn't work. There was a lot. It took a lot to make it happen. So it's not just like, it's not flip it. It's like there's a lot behind it. I feel like what's going to happen is a third party is going to enter the situation. One way or another, it seems like a third party comes in. I do feel like you're still a part of it at this moment. This third party comes in and tries to help you and this person work this out. The third party does see your value. But they also see like this other person you're dealing with has to work with you. I'm getting Cancer. I don't know why. The sign Cancer, I am getting this. And I'm wondering if it's either a Cancer you're dealing with or this whole situation, or a Cancer that may be the one coming in trying to help work it out. I'm feeling a Cancer energy, so I feel like for a lot of you, a Cancer is going to affect this situation, which I don't like doing that. Only because when I say Cancer, it's the person has that type of energy where they care about what happens to people. They look at the situation like a family atmosphere. They're very invested in everybody. They want everybody, like you and this other person, they're invested in the sense of like they want you both to win. They want everybody to get along. So they're trying to make this, they're literally trying to help everybody be happy if possible. This person, like, and I say Cancer, this is why I cringe to say that. Because it could be Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, or Cancer Mercury, because that's communication is what I'm thinking. Or Cancer Mars, because that's how some people fight. I don't know. I hate to say it because I feel like there's a Cancer influence here. I'm letting it go because the fact that it's popping into my head makes me cringe because I'm like, I don't like to do that. Because people get caught up and they're like, I swear to God, like somebody will show up in a situation and they'll be like, are you a Cancer? Are you the Cancer we've been looking for? Like, I just feel like people get too caught up into that. That's the only reason why. This is your side. Ten of Wands. What's this card? Ooh, Will, Wisdom, and Mind. It's not shocking to see a Taurus be really strong. Even if you're not a Taurus and you're just clicked on this video because it looked right to you, even if you're technically not a Taurus, you definitely have to be very strong if this whole thing is hitting. Putting up with a lot is something that you can do. And at this point, it feels like you've already put up with a lot. You've put up with a lot. And it's almost like you're being asked to put up with a lot more. But I'm also getting like, at this point, you put in so much effort. You've put in so much work to this. And you're seeing how a little bit more effort and this can actually work out. And you're just kind of like, I'm not one to walk away. It's been asking way too much to begin with, but and it's asking really way too much to ask for more, but you're invested and you're like, I want to see the success. I want to see the success in this, so let's do it. There's healing here, there's the Moon, and there's the Three of Swords, and I'm noticing the Three of Swords dipping down. So the person you've been helping, I'm getting a lot of embarrassment, and a lot of, like, it's almost like they're humiliated. But at the same time, you're not happy either. I don't feel humiliation on your side as much as kind of like just like really just dissatisfied and unhappy with how you've been treated and how this person has been blowing up. So that's the Three of Swords for you. The Moon card is telling me it's like neither of you are convinced that this is a slam dunk at this point, but there's a possibility this could actually still turn out to success. This card, the Raphael, to me says healing. This says a lot of healing, a lot of caring. I feel like this is the third party's influence, but it's trying to keep the third party seems to have to stay involved at least to some level to keep this working out. I get that there's a lot of healing between you and this energy. It seems to be a lot of work too. When all is said and done, I feel like this situation will work out. But I'm also feeling when this situation is finished, or where it needs to go, or it's hit the goal line you're trying to get to, I just feel like it's kind of like it's bittersweet. It's kind of like this person has put you through a lot, and you're not really the happiest with them. On the other hand, they're thinking they find you difficult to deal with. Fair or not, that's the energy I'm feeling on that side. So it's like it's mutual. Both sides are kind of like not really warm and fuzzy towards the other, but yet not attacking and not looking to come for the other one. But it's almost like, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but I don't want to really be around you. That's kind of how you feel about them. That's sort of how they how they feel about you. Kind of like, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but can you just stay on the other side of the house for the rest of your life? No. Like, I just feel like it's kind of like that energy. Kind of like, I don't want anything bad to happen to them, but I don't really want to deal with them either. That's where this is heading. I just feel like they're giving you a heads up that that's where this is heading. I hope that helps. Whatever you can do with that, you can do with that. I really hope that helps. And I feel like I'm done. Okay, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to purchase a reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.